Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update this channel daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing the Zenith El Primero Grand Classe XXT triple calendar Moonphase, 44mm in stainless steel. This is one of the most understated of the complicated chronographs built by Zenith during the 2000s under Terry Nataf. He made significant investments in movements, cases, clasps, and overall quality, and much of that is evident in the construction of this case. 44mm in stainless steel, the watch is thinner than you might expect. It's a broad and flat watch at 14.3mm thick with a double-stepped and sloped conical bezel. It slides easily underneath a shirt cuff. A lug-to-lug, it's a big boy, no doubt. 51mm though, perhaps not as broad as you'd expect for a 44mm round watch. 51mm is a Rolex Daytona solid end link to end link, so if you can wear that, you could probably wear this. The lug spacing is broad, as it should be for a modern oversized watch, 22mm, so this one doesn't appear to be pinched at the lugs. It's nice and broad. It has an impressive footing and stance. The strap is simply up to the standard of the watch. It's a high-grade strap, dark brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather. You can see it has a thick profile with a folded edge, a monotone stitch, semi-gloss finish, and there's vulcanized rubber on the underside. And this is one of the wonderful innovations of that 2000 Zenith era. The rubber on the underside isolates the leather from the heat, sweat, moisture, grit, and oil of the wrist, providing long-wearing durability, but also comfort for your wrist. Clasps, big upgrades during the 2000s. Pin buckles became deployants, and you can see that the deployants were substantial. There's a lot of metal in here. The double swing arm design is good for smaller wrists, and it's distinctive, it's substantial, it's curved on its underside to track the arc of your wrist, and it's all of high polish, so the attention to detail here, especially in the teardrop form of the buckle itself, rather impresses. Now moving back to the case, you can see it's simple and strong. The lugs have a small transitional bevel that sweeps down to partition the lug hoods with their satin finish from the case band with its high polish. The case band is somewhat stepped inward from its mid case to its case back, so when it's on the wrist, it actually sits lower than 14.3mm. A few pusher adjusters and a strong horizontal formed by the junction of the mid case with the double stepped bezel. Moving into the dial, a little bit like an IWC Portuguese, this watch is principally dial with a minimalist bezel pushed out as far as possible. The crown is Zenith Star Blazon, and the pushers are vintage-inspired lozenge shaped. The dial features a number of refinements. First, you can see outboard there is a dimple-style minutes and seconds track, and this is more decorative than functional, as you can't really track the fifth of a second, or tenth of a second capability, I should say, of the Zenith El Primero. And it's also important to note that the applique Arabic numerals sit on a vast opaline hour track that's handsomely stepped up and contrasted in its texture from the center dial, which is a little bit of a pyramide or a clou de Paris. Each sub-register is sunken with a radial stamped guilloche at its center, and then a concentric satin-grained metallic track for the calibrations. There is a frame for the day as well as the month in their apertures at 12 o'clock. Applique Zenith Star, and you'll note there is a date at 4:30 as well as a coaxial display of chronograph hours and Moonphase at 6 o'clock. A lot of functionality, the king of chronographs, the chronograph with a calendar, and one might even say that the chronograph is the king of complications. So you have the king of complications, you have the romantic complication in the Moonphase, and you have the practical everyday complication in the triple calendar. Now the watch does feature a interesting quickset function. Actually, you have to pull the crown out all the way because that's how El Primeros work. But you can roll straight through the quickset of the date, and that will in turn, watch the month, that will in turn drive the month. So the watch does have a quickset function. Turn it all over, and you can see this is a Zenith El Primero. Now, the Zenith El Primero is a time-tested machine here doing business as El Primero variant 4100. Automatic winding, 50 to 52 hour power reserve, 36,000 vibration per hour beat rate, or 10 beats per second, 5 hertz. It features both blued and polished screws, and the blued screws are used for adjustment of the mechanism. The polished screws are used for physical assembly, so your watchmaker knows the difference by the distinction between the color of the screws. Let's get a little bit closer and improve the focus here. You can see that the watch does feature a traditional column wheel mechanism, and the column wheel mechanism interacts with the levers and horns of the chronograph, so it is a very visible chronograph. The El Primero, one of the best looking chronograph calibers, especially considering considering its automatic winding, it actually hides nothing. You can see the lateral clutch moving away from and into contact with the center wheel, the column wheel interacting with the levers and horns, and when you reset, you can actually see the recentering hammers falling on the hard cams at center. All of this 50 meters water resistance, so that's solidly more than a standard Chronomaster from the same period. Those tended to be 30 meters. So this watch, a robust all-purpose, larger timepiece, but not outlandish like Zeniths from the 2000s generally are. This is simply a larger option for a larger wrist or those who have a taste for larger watches. It's still very much a dress watch, elegant, and thanks to its broad case, it actually has a very slim aspect ratio. You can see this one and you can make it yours on the watch box.